I'm Adam Catterall, Gareth Davies alongside me. We've got lots to talk about because we haven't been in the studio together for a long period of time. So we'll start with that, shall we? I suppose that was the big talking point last weekend. I know that this is going to irk a lot of boxing fans because we did have a world title fight with Chris Smith attempting to unify against Gilberto Ramirez. Listen, we're going to talk about that as well. We will give you a debrief on that, and we will, of course, give it its own section to Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor because I want to kind of pull that away from that card because that is the super fight. Everybody was into that, no matter whether you were tuning in for the main event or not, you were tuning in for that co-main event. So I'm going to take it out of this debrief and we're going to give it its own section, rightfully so. And with that being said, let's get into the main event. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. You were there, so you're the best person to speak about this. I was a person that observed it on Netflix, along with 60 million other people simultaneously. What did you make of it all?
Well, the week's build-up was amazing. We had extraordinary access to Mike through personal friendship with him, but also talkSPORT. We were there all over the place, presenting and digressing and looking into it and wondering. We had Roy Jones Jr. with us at one point. And the funny thing was, from Roy Jones Jr. to other, and obviously he was the last man in the ring with Mike, even though it was an exhibition 2 or 3 years ago. The feeling was from lots of boxing people that Mike would still have too much for Jake Paul if he felt he wanted to do something. Obviously, there's lots of conspiracy theories about it, but I think even hardened journos wrote, when Mike Tyson walked to the ring, it was an extraordinary nostalgia moment for many, many people of different generations. And I'm talking about people in their 80s, I know, were setting their alarm clocks to get up to watch it over here in Europe. It's the last time we'll see Mike Tyson walk to the ring. He's an extraordinary human being. I want to say that there's a wisdom in Mike now that that is a pleasure to behold, and that he... I think it's fair to say he's been exploited a lot of his life
Massively.
as well. And I personally care about him, and I think a lot of people do care about him. And on the fight itself was a veneer. We were seduced by the clips of Mike Tyson. I went, oh damn, when I saw that right knee taped up on the walk in and him almost limping a little bit. You could see his age. You could see that he was slightly stressed by it all. He was fun during the week. He was going to bring the devil himself, not just darkness. And he played that role. He played the skit with his buttocks out after Amir, his son, had interviewed him on Netflix and they'd had a kiss and Mike walked off. It's like a scene from The Hangover, wasn't it? You know, the biting of the gloves. Mike played his part, but the body won't do what his mind wants him to do anymore. And we all had a flashback moment to when he was 18 and 22, and we wanted him to be that thing again and knock out Jake Paul, who played the ultimate cockerel, if I can call it that, as he wore on the workout. He was playing the villain and the heel all week, and he succeeded in it. In terms of an entertainment event, I know we're going to the undercard in a minute. It was very flat after the first round in that fight because you could see that Mike doesn't have it anymore. And then Jake Paul won every round after that, if not the first round. I gave Mike Tyson the first round. I was scoring it. Spencer and I were doing commentary, but it did feel very flat. So it was amazing up until really midway through the first round when you realised that Mike wasn't going to be able to do what we wanted him to do.
I'll give you my thoughts in a minute. I want to hear from Jake Paul because I know that you caught up with him in the immediate aftermath of last weekend's main event. So here he is. Here's Jake Paul speaking to Gareth Davies.
Congratulations, brother. How are you doing?
Thank you,
feel
brother.
Good?
Yeah, feeling really good, man. The little kid version of me would be just so happy right now and just so proud of what I accomplished.
You dreamt it into existence.
Yes, manifestation is real. Ayahuasca can change and help people, and God is real.
Can you do Canelo or not?
Yeah, let's do it, bro. That's what everyone wants to see. I want a bigger challenge.
Right, okay, wow. Here's my thoughts on it, right? Going into the event, I think any knowledgeable boxing fan knew kind of what they were going to get. They know that they're not watching elite sport, okay?
But Roy Jones Jr. is a knowledgeable boxing fan. He got it wrong as well.
What do you mean?
He thought that Jake Paul wouldn't be able to live with Mike Tyson if he decided...
Well, he shouldn't be. Listen, there's many questions. We got Nikisa on a little later on, right? And I'll ask him some straightforward questions and see where we get to it. But going into it, you know you're not watching elite level sport, and the reason why
that's true.
The reason why you come to that conclusion is because Mike Tyson's 58. Okay, so therefore he's not performing like he is in his early 20s, and with all due respect to Jake Paul, he is at a certain level. All right. So you kind of think to yourself, from voyeuristic eyes, if you're going to tune into this, you want to be entertained in some way, shape or form. You want to see the old shadows of Mike Tyson just a little bit, gives a little glimpse of it. Maybe he does land that shot. Maybe he ends up getting splattered. Whatever. We're all into watching some sort of fight. But you know what you're kind of watching?
It's an exhibition.
Well, we're told that
That's
it's
what
not.
it looked like.
We're told
That's
that it's
what it
not.
looked
We're told
like.
that it's obviously a professional sanctioned boxing clash, right? There's that element of jeopardy signposted to it, even though you know that it's not elite. You want entertainment. I come away from it, as you've just said, you used the word flat there. I think flat's the correct word because it was far from entertaining. If anything, it was really poor. You've just said, the first round, you have a little bit of a look, and then after that, it's absolutely, what are we watching? This is nowhere near.
Well, you didn't want to see Mike Tyson get hurt, frankly. He took 78 punches too many, in my view.
But was there any danger in that? With all due respect, when you watch it, right, you've got Mike Tyson getting into range with his feet and pulling shots. He didn't throw shots. He didn't throw anything, did he? And then you've got Jake Paul.
Are you suggesting he deliberately wasn't?
Yeah, I am suggesting
I don't
this.
agree with that.
And then I'm looking at Jake Paul, who's a 20-odd-year-old fella. He's got a stationary target sat in front of him.
And he didn't let his
And he
hands
doesn't
go.
hit it.
He didn't.
So-
he did 78 times.
But if he had anything about him, would he not have taken it out?
That's a lose-lose. I think he realised.
Well, then
in
that's
there.
conning the audience, isn't it? You've told him that you're getting a proper professional fight.
yeah.
You get in a fight. Come and watch a fight.
Yeah.
We didn't watch a fight.
The event was a spectacle, but the fight didn't deliver, and it didn't deliver because it is a mismatch when you put a 58-year-old man in with a 27-year-old man, and one who was once a great, an all-time great, and one who is a neophyte. And you're right in your assessment. There is an element of, as I say, I'm using the word seduction about it because in many ways my belief is I like the eyeballs on the sport because you're talking from a boxing purist's
I'm talking from a sport point of view.
Well, from a
there's a commercial angle which is very successful.
Yeah, and it will continue to be. It will continue to be very successful commercially.
I mean, when you look at the numbers commercially, I mean, 60 million views simultaneously for that just main event. I think Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano did 50 million. So you've just rightfully said, retrospective views are over 100 million people have tuned in some way, shape or form to that event.
And my understanding is that Netflix, this is what my assessment of it is. I think Netflix probably made about 200 million, if not more.
Their stock has that absolutely risen.
Because if you're paying $10.99 and it's new subscribers, you only need 1 million new subscribers, and sorry, that takes it into whatever that is. To 1 million new subscribers is $100 million dollars. So if they had 2 million new subscribers for this, and
commercially, it's been a massive success. I mean, if you look at the Gate, they've done 18 million on the Gate, which in US fight sports history on the Gate, they're in the top 10.
And they're just behind Fury and Wilder.
Which is ridiculous.
The record for Fury.
70,000 people have bought a ticket.
And twice as much money as Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders at the same stadium 4 years ago.
My problem is
3 years ago.
Right. So here's something for you, right? At the end, when we just heard you speak to him at the end there, and I know that you spoke to his brother about the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Canelo for him. Why have you mentioned Canelo
Because
for
he
him?
was talking about fighting Canelo next all week. He's serious about it. He is definitely...
Yeah, but we don't have to be because we know that that's a farce.
Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but maybe at cruiserweight. No, to sit down on Tuesday, he said, when I beat Mike Tyson, I want to fight one of the greats in this era. That's my ambition. And I don't want to hold him back because I think even though he plays the villain at the moment, he's playing the heel because that's his way of garnering eyes, and he knows that route that most people will tune in again against Canelo if that fight's made. They will tune in to see him get knocked out, and he may get stopped. It may be the end game.
There's no maybe. If it's a proper fight, there's no maybe about that.
Well,
if it's a proper fight, there's no maybe about it. Canelo will absolutely hurt him.
But can you see Canelo saying yes to that fight if he's going to earn, say, $150 million US?
But what? Right?
Can you say him saying yes to it?
Individuals, Jake Paul and Canelo, absolutely, I can see him chasing money.
And therefore, it will happen.
I've seen a guy that holds a heavyweight championship belt this week call him out. I've seen the undisputed light heavyweight championship
Artur Beterbiev
call him
and
out.
Daniels. Why are they doing it?
Because they're chasing money. Because boxing is full of people that are looking for the easiest amount of work for the most amount of money.
And they should be. And that's not a problem.
No
because
problem
if
with
it works commercially, that's fine in my
No problem
view.
with it whatsoever. But then the sport has to stand up and say, hang on a minute, what are we doing here, right? You cannot put the kid off the Disney Channel in with the undisputed...
Well, he's no longer the kid off the Disney Channel.
Come on, Gareth, listen.
So
listen
he wants to go into the Olympics in 2028
well, he's
as
dreaming.
well.
He's dreaming. Listen to this.
I can see it happening.
Listen to it. Right. Answer me this question. Would Tommy Fury win a British title?
He could.
No. Give me your professional opinion.
No, I think he could. He's capable of winning a British title.
My opinion is that he wouldn't, right?
Okay.
My opinion is that Tommy Fury would not hit British level, right? Jake Paul's fought Tommy Fury
and I think that's very unfair of you, because
that's
I
my
think
opinion.
He's a young fighter and he's got a lot of learning to do.
There's a reason why Tommy Fury's gone off to Misfits. Because there's more money and more opportunity for him over there.
It's a sport as well as a business, and he's gone to the business side of it.
Of course. Right. So if he genuinely believed that he could go through and become British, European, world champion, he would be on that path because of the stock that he's from. There's a disbelief there of him being able to do that. So, in my opinion, I think he would struggle to become a British champion, which is a very prestigious thing to do, right? We all agree on that. Jake Paul fell short at beating Tommy Fury. So, you're now wanting to put a guy that has fallen short at that level in with Canelo.
Yeah. Who's a middleweight.
He'd still get hurt.
Or a super middleweight at the moment.
He'd still get hurt. Do you not think he'd get hurt?
But we don't know.
Come on.
We don't know.
The sport has to stand up and stop that. You can't sanction that.
The sport can't stand up and stop anything. We are not in a position to stand up and stop anything. You can't forbid Canelo going in the ring with Jake Paul.
No, but the sport can say, well, we're not sanctioning it. You can do what you want, lads. Crack on.
But then they'll do it unlicensed, won't they?
Well, let them crack on with that. But the sport can't be involved in that.
So what you're saying is, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but if the sport doesn't want to license it, then that's fine. But that's not how the sport is, Adam, and you know that. I'm talking with a promoter's hat on. I'm not talking from what I want. I'm talking from what will happen. And I can't say that ain't going to happen because because 6 years ago or 7 years ago, when Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fought each other, everybody embraced it because but
it was new and fresh then.
It was new and fresh, and I played a part.
You played a major part
in pushing that fight on BT Sport, TNT Sport it is now.
Yeah.
Interviewing Conor McGregor about it and John Kavanagh about it, who were like, "Let's do it. Show me the money." Whereas the agent, Audiatar, who embraced it eventually, was saying, "No, I don't think that's going to work." It grossed, was it 500 million, 600
It was silly
million?
money.
Because it was so compelling. And I do agree with what you'll say about it. Yeah, but it was two combat artists who are the top of their profession at the time and the brilliant marketeers that they were. The problem we have is that when something works commercially, it will always happen in fight sports.
And you're probably right. But it doesn't mean that the sport has to dance to that tune, does it?
I don't disagree with that either.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.